Hey guys. Um, so this is week 4 of the New Testament challenge. We are still in Matthew and we are starting at Matthew 29, 15, chapter 15, verse 29. I also wanted to sort of put out another challenge there. It's up to you guys if you do, but because we are doing the New Testament challenge this year, I thought I needed to learn the whole order of how the books fall in the Bible for the New Testament, because I have not done that yet. I can more or less get to where I need to be. I'm familiar where they lay in my Bible, but I do want to have them memorized in memory. So I'm going to do that and see if anybody wanted to join me out there. I think it would be great. And now all I'm doing to memorize them, I wrote them all down. I carry this with me now. And I just say the order. I read the order 5 times, then I put my paper away and I say them 5 times, and I keep going through the day. And then I've just been adding several to them a day. So I'm hoping that I actually have this done next couple weeks. So we'll see. But if anybody would like to do that with me, I'd be happy for you to join me. So we're going to start. I'm going to read the last verse that we were supposed to do this week. And that's Matthew 15:28. And it says, Then Jesus answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith, be unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. And Jesus departed from them and came nigh unto the Sea of Galilee, and went up into a mountain and sat down there. And great multitudes came unto him, having with them those that were lame, blind, dumb, maimed, and many others, and cast them down at Jesus' feet, and he healed them. Insomuch that the multitudes wondered when they saw the dumb to speak, the maimed to behold, and the lame to walk, and the blind to see, and they glorified the God of Israel. Then Jesus called his disciples unto him and said, I have compassion on the multitudes, because they continued with me now 3 days, and have nothing to eat. And I will not send them away fasting, lest they faint in the way. And his disciples said unto him, What should we have so much bread in the wilderness, as to fill a great multitude? And Jesus said unto them, How many loaves have you? And they said, 7, and a few little fishes. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and the fishes, and gave thanks, and brake them, and gave to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did eat, and were filled. And they took up the broken meat that was left, 7 baskets full. And they that did eat were 4,000 men, besides women and children. And he sent away the multitude, and took ship, and came into the coast of Magdala. 16. Pharisees also with the I think it's Sadducees, I'm not sure, guys, came and tempted, desiring him that he would show them a sign from heaven. And he answered and said unto them, When it is evening, you say, It will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and low ring. O you hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take the bread. Jesus said unto them, Take heed and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived this, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason you among yourselves, because you have brought no bread? Do you yet not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000, and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000, and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that you do not understand that I speak it not to you concerning bread, that you should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees? Then understood they that how he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesar's Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Who do men say that I am the Son of Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elijah, and others Jeremias, or one of the prophets. He says unto them, But who says ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed are they, Simon Bar-Jonah, for the flesh and blood has not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall loose in heaven. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the 3rd day. Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. But he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou art an offense unto me. For thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of man. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up the cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man's profit if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till the Son of Man come in his kingdom. Verse 17. Oh my gosh. You guys are here? Hi. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry. I just figured this would be up for everybody to see later. I didn't realize anybody was here. So, hello, Shan. Hello, Angie C. Hello, Lee. Hello, Sue. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to go back to reading now, okay? Okay, chapter 17. And After 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. There appeared unto them Moses and Elijah talking with him. I don't think that's Elijah, guys. I think Elisa, Elias is how it's spelled. Then answered Peter and said unto Jesus, Lord, it is good for us to be here. If thou wilt, let us make here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, one for Moses, and one for Elisha. While he spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. And Jesus came and touched them and said, Arise, and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man save Jesus only. And as they came down from the mountains, Jesus charged them, saying, Tell the vision to no man until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then say the scribe that Elisha must first come? No, I lost my place, guys. I looked away and I lost my place. That Elisha must first come. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Elisha truly shall first come and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elijah is come already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatsoever they listed. Likewise shall also the Son of Man suffer of them. Then the disciples understood what he spake unto them of John the Baptist. 14. And when they were come to the multitudes, then come to him a certain man kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed, for oftentimes he falleth into the fire and oft into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and preserved generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Jesus apart and said, Why could we not cast him out? And Jesus said unto them, Because of your own belief. For verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall have unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. How about this kind goeth not out, but prayer and fasting? And while they abode in Galilee, Jesus said unto them, The Son of Man shall be betrayed into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and the third day he shall be raised again. And they were exceedingly sorry. And when they were come into Capernaum, that they received tribute money, came to Peter and says, Does it not your master pay tribute? He says, Yes. And when he was come into the house, Jesus prevented him, saying, What thinkest thou, Simon? Of whom do the kings of the earth take custom or tribute? Of their own children or of strangers? Peter said unto him, Of strangers. Jesus said unto him, Jesus said unto him, Then are the children free. Notwithstanding, lest we should offend them, go thou to the sea, cast a hook, and take up the fish that first comes up, and thou hast opened his mouth. Thou shalt find a piece of money. Take that and give unto for me and thee. Sorry, guys. I need a drink of water. I think I'm going to have to take cough things to church this morning. Chapter 18. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except you be converted, and I become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And who shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. But who shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hung about, wow, this is getting tongue-tied here, hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom the offense comes. Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offended thee, cut them off, and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life whole or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into the everlasting fire. And if thy eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. For the Son of Man is come to save that which was lost. How think ye, if a man have 100 sheep, and one of them be gone astray, does he not leave the 99 which goeth into the mountains, and seeketh that which is gone astray? And if so be that he find it, verily I say unto you, he rejoices more of that sheep than of the 99 which were not astray. Even so, it is not the will of your Father which is in heaven, that one of these little ones should perish. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his faults between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever you shall bind on earth shall bind in heaven, and whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be lost in heaven. Again I say unto you, that if 2 of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. That is one of my favorite verses. Verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times, till 70 times 7. Therefore in the kingdom of heaven, like it unto a certain king, which would take account of his servants. And when he had begun to reckon one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents. But for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. Then the Lord of the servant was moved with compassion, and loosened him, and forgave him the debt. But the same servant went out, and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. And he laid hands on him, and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet, and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done. Then his Lord, after that he had called him, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all thy debt, because thou desired me. Shouldst not thou also have compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? And his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you. But if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his brother. Okay, let's start that over. Verse 35. So likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if you from your hearts forgive not everyone his brother their trespasses. Okay. Chapter 19. And it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee, and came into the coast of Judea, beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, It is lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause. Sorry, guys. My throat is so dry and scratchy. When it came to pass that when Jesus had finished these sayings, he departed from Galilee and came unto the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And great multitudes followed him, and he healed them there. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, It is lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause. And he answered and said unto them, Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twine shall be one flesh? Wherefore there are no more twines, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder. They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement, and to put her away? And he said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery. And whosoever marrieth her which is put away does commit adultery. His disciples say unto him, If the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry. But he said unto them, All men cannot receive this saying, save they to whom it is given. For there are some. Oh, there's that word. I forgot I read that word. Uchins, I think it's Uchins, which were so born from their mother's womb, And there are some Eachins which were made Eachins of men, and and there be Eachins which have made themselves Eachins for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. You guys can look that up. EUNUCHS. Then were they brought unto him little children, and he should put his hands on them and pray. And the disciples rebuked them. But Jesus said, Suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for as such is the kingdom of heaven. And he laid his hands on them, and departed thence. And behold, one came and said unto him, God, Master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? And he said unto them, Why callest thou me God? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. He said unto him, Which? Jesus said, Thou shalt do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man saith unto him, All these things I have kept from my youth up. What I lack yet? Jesus said unto him, If thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasures in heaven, and come and follow me. But when the young man heard that, he went away sorrowfully, for he had great possessions. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, Verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. When his disciples heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, Who then can be saved? But Jesus beheld them and said unto them, With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit up in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone that has forsaken houses or brethren, or sisters, or fathers, or mothers, or wives, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Verse 20, or chapter 20, guys. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his yard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the 3rd hour, and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and said unto them, Why standeth ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man has hired us. He said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right thou shalt you receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they were murmuring against the good man of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. It is not lawful for me to do. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thy eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. And Jesus, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples apart in the way, and said unto them, Behold, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock and to scourge and to crucify him, and the third day he shall rise again. Then came him to the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him, and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She said unto him, Grant that these my 2 sons may sit, the one on thy right hand and the other on the left, in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what you ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. And he saith unto them, You shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the 2 brethren. But Jesus called them unto him and said, Yeah, see, I looked away. But Jesus called them unto him and said, You know that the prince of the Gentiles exercises domain over them, and they are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you. But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man come not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. And as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, 2 blind men sitting by the wayside, when they heard that Jesus passed by, cried out, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And the multitudes rebuked them, because they should hold their peace. But they cried the more, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And Jesus stood still and called them and said, What will ye that I shall do unto you? They say unto him, Lord, that our eyes may be open. So Jesus had compassion on them and touched their eyes, and immediately their eyes received sight, and they followed him. And when they drew nigh on, oh, I'm sorry, guys, that's where I end. I put a little dash mark right there. That is the end of week 4's reading. If anybody has any questions, just let me know. I put the link to the New Testament group in the description down below. There's not a lot happening there, guys. I mean, I started that group, so if people wanted to come together, they could and have one place to question or ask anything they want. But also the PDF for your weekly readings and stuff is in there, and it was easier for me to do that. Anybody can, you know, come and join the group if they want. If you don't want the group, but you would like to have, they print out as 2 pages. If you'd like to have the days on where you should be in the New Testament, let me know. I do have the PDF, and I can just send it to you in a private message. So that won't be no big deal too, because I know a lot of people don't want to join groups. And I'm fine with that. Just as long as you're doing the challenge, I don't care if you're in the group or out of the group. However you want to do it, that is what's most important. Okay. So, Ruby, hey honey, glad to see you here. Gracie, hi Grace. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Have I missed anybody else? I don't think so. So guys, I have to leave in, what time is it? It's 8:51. I've got to leave in like 35-40 minutes. So I am going to end this here. Thank you all for joining me. Sorry it was live like this, but I was so busy yesterday and last night. I just didn't have a chance to get it recorded yesterday. So everybody have a blessed day. I hope your day is wonderful and everything. And I will talk to you all later. Okay. Bye guys.